Today we're diving into more legal insights with Peterson Law Office, our handsome friend over here.
Right, so it's always a pleasure to welcome back Justin Peterson into the studio. Now, Justin, I know we have a lot to talk about, and we've been talking about, of course, graduation.
Yes.
A lot of people are graduating. Tell us a little bit about maybe some issues that you are receiving in your office.
Yeah, so you get these calls this time of year because I think people's minds are elsewhere other than the roadway, and so you see some of these single vehicle accidents. And one of the things that we do when we're investigating a single vehicle accident is we're looking into a couple different things about the roadway. How was the roadway constructed? In the late 2010s, the Department of Transportation at UK College of Engineering did a really in-depth study about what we call run-off-the-road situations. And they found that 2/3 of fatalities in Kentucky are a vehicle exiting the roadway for some reason. And so Kentucky is a quote, run-off-the-road state is how they say it in that industry. And what that study was designed to do, it was designed to talk about how do we prohibit this from happening. And there's a lot of different things about roadway construction that we can prohibit these really bad and fatal accidents when a vehicle wheel leaves a roadway. And part of it was putting just a slant, just a wedge in the roadway so that if your wheel leaves, it can easily get back up on the roadway. Because as we add to roadways, we're just building up the roadway. We're just putting asphalt on top of it. And so if there's a drop off and a wheel goes off, the wheel can't get back on the road, and therefore it causes some type of event like a rollover event or some type of coming back across the roadway and entering into another lane of travel. And so they came up with all these great ideas, and the state engineer implemented them into a lot of the roadway contracts, but we don't always see that it was done correctly. And so if there is negligence in the installation of that roadway, and it's a contributing factor, a substantial factor in causing the crash, then you have a case for that.
And so hypothetically speaking, just mentioned a long road because it is a one-lane road traveling in both directions.
Sure.
So let's say you're coming up on someone and they just go over that yellow line just a tad, but it's enough to knock you onto the median. Who's at fault then?
Oh, sure. It's going to be the vehicle that leaves their lane 100% in that situation, you know. But science is going to tell us those things, because I promise that other person is not going to say they were across the road. They're going to say you were across the road. And so we look at debris fields, we look at maybe skid marks, we look at roadway evidence, which is why it's important to call us quickly, because that roadway evidence can dissipate with weather. It can dissipate with other accidents. And so we just need to get out there as soon as possible.
So in one of these cases where maybe the roads weren't implemented correctly, or as you said, they continued to stack up the pavement on top of it, what can be done? I mean, who can be considered at fault then?
Well, you look into the contractors. You know, the good thing is we can do open records requests to the state. We can see who was doing the work on the roadway, what they were doing. We can get the state contract, and then we get our experts out there. We have really good experts in this field that have been very successful nationwide that look at the roadway and they say, was this done right or was this done wrong?
Okay, and then I have another question. I know we've been talking about certain vehicles on the roads. I won't say the specific vehicle, but let's say if the the system malfunctions, the mechanics malfunction, and it's driving on its own.
Sure.
And it malfunctions. You hit a tree, but you're trying to adjust. What happens?
Yeah, absolutely. We can look into product manufacturers, and obviously with technology coming, that's a developing area of law, especially with Tesla and some of these other autonomous vehicles. Those are things that need to be looked into. You know, the famous case was the Arizona case where, you know, the boy was run over, and you know, they were saying that that's not going to happen, and it did, right? And so, but you also got to look at driver responsibility. You know, if you fall asleep in your car and think that car is going to get you to point B, then there's going to be driver responsibility as well, and so it's definitely going to fall back to insurance. But we look at what we call the crashworthiness of the vehicle. So we have experts that will come in and fly in, and there's some really good ones here in Kentucky too, that will look at the crashworthiness of that vehicle. Did the vehicle operate the way it's supposed to protect you in the vehicle?
Okay.
And if it doesn't, then you can have a product manufacturer claim as well.
All right, JustinPetersonLaw.com. You can go check everything out over there. We appreciate you coming in, and always your legal advice.
Thank you.